Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the highlights, you've heard the rumors, but now it's time to get the real scoop. We pull back the curtain on the world of sports entertainment and give you the unfiltered truth. From the biggest pay-per-views to the latest shocking headlines, you're locked in for the ultimate wrestling discussion. This is Between the Ropes, only on the Empty the Bench Network. Now, here's your host, Kristie Wilson.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Between the Ropes. I'm your host. My name is Kristie Wilson, and I'm going to say this. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody, especially to these two, Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron, wishing them the absolute best of luck as they defend their AEW women's tag team titles against the Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart and Sky Blue, down in Sydney, Australia for AEW Grand Slam Australia. You can watch it tonight, TNT, HBO Max. Watch these two ladies do their thing, and I think they're going to retain. That's just my personal opinion. But I hope everyone is having a wonderful Saturday. Hope you're enjoying your Valentine's Day with your significant other. And there, of course, is the ticker. Yep, you see all that good stuff right there. Yes. And then, of course, you could follow Between the Ropes on all social media platforms right there at BTRETB. And then, of course, I'm on YouTube and all that. So if you want my show or other content that we have here, youtube.com/ATB network, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on a thing here. Now we're going to get to the fun part of this. We're going to talk about the topics. Yes, this is probably going to be happening according to Fightful.com. AEW's premier pay-per-view event, Double or Nothing, might possibly be held in New York City. Now, don't start going crazy and thinking, oh my God, is it going to be at Barclays Center in Brooklyn? Is it going to be at Madison Square Garden? Believe me, I would love that, to be completely honest, especially MSG. That would be great. But no, it's going to be in a pretty familiar location. It's the National Tennis Center, Flushing Meadows, Corona Park in Queens. But it's not Arthur Ashe Stadium, where AEW has had Grand Slam episodes of Dynamite happen there. That's where center court is where the big championship tennis matches for the U.S. Open are. No, it's going to possibly at Louis Armstrong Stadium, of course, named after, of course, the jazz legend, easy for me to say, used to live in Corona in Queens. So what do I think about this? As much as I love, the idea of AEW doing anything in New York, I mean, as cool as that is, the big pay-per-view, you hear Double or Nothing, you automatically think gambling, and they have had it in Vegas. During the pandemic, they had to have it at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. And, of course, last year they had it in Phoenix, Arizona. I think that what they're doing here by keeping this pay-per-view away from Vegas, kind of the Vegas fans miss them. Like, oh, where's AEW? We want them to come back with their big pay-per-view event. You might get it. You might get it back. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, New York City. Like I said, as much as I would love for Madison Square Garden, Barclays Center, but I would love to see it at MSG because that place, as everyone knows, has been around for a very, very long time, has hosted so many events, so many epic moments happening there. I would love for that to be in MSG, but right now, this feels like this might be a better place for them than say, for example, than anything. It gets. I'm losing my train of thought. God damn it. Never mind. But no, am I excited for this? I'm happy about it myself, but like I said, we'll see how that all goes. Now, the next topic, this was one of those that's just scrolling Twitter while watching Dynamite, just minding my own business. This ends up coming up, and I'm kind of shocked by it. That's right, AEW's other big premier pay-per-view event, All In, is coming back to London August 30th with pre-sale, ticket pre-sale access going to be starting on March 16th with tickets for the general public available on March 20th. This, of course, was announced on Dynamite on Wednesday, and I saw it on my Twitter, just like I said, scrolling, minding my own business. That's how I find a lot of my topics. I'll just be scrolling, minding my own business, not thinking of anything, and it'll come up and really catch my attention. This definitely did. I love All In. As we know, this was at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas this past July. But, you're talking about London, Wembley Stadium. Come on now. I mean, come on. Wembley Stadium, iconic. It makes sense. Big crowds. The British fans are incredible. There's clearly no question about that. Whoops. Never mind that. But this is going to be great. And I know many are predicting, what kind of matches could we get? Could, say, My British Show Will Ospreay coming back and dethroning Maxwell Jacob Friedman as the AEW World Champion at this particular event, because this is England. He's from Essex. This would be, that match in itself would be a great main event to really end AEW All In on a bang. It's unbelievable. But I think this is a good move. We know Wembley Stadium was being used for other purposes last year, which is why All In had to get moved to Arlington, Texas. But, that All In was epic and amazing, and I wouldn't be surprised if this one in London is just as epic and amazing, maybe even more epic and amazing, the possibility. But I love this. I really love this. I mean, do I think All In's going to go to other big cities? I mean, I think it's definitely possible. I definitely think it's possible for that. But this is definitely big if you are an AEW fan like I am. I mean, geez. There you go. Kind of tells you everything you need to know right there. So that is definitely something that is pretty exciting, because if you were wondering when it was going to happen or when it was going to, oh my God. Hi, KB. Hi, KB. He says this would sell out Wembley, MJF versus Ospreay and Kenny Omega versus AJ Styles. But I'm just, I mean, believe me, KB, I agree with you on the AJ thing. I mean, I would say I'm in total agreement with you. I would love to see AJ Styles in AEW, kind of run it back, go up against, the guy who kicked his ass out of the Bullet Club, Kenny Omega. That would be incredible. That long-term story in itself, it writes itself. And this would just be amazing if it happened, but that's AJ Styles' decision. And whether he goes to AEW or not is a topic I hope to discuss at some point as more information comes along. I'm going to get off that real quick here. All right. But yeah, that would be so cool just to see the Phenomenal One in AEW, especially for All In, where he can go up against his old pal Kenny Omega. That would be really great, like McKeeby said. We're just dreaming, though. We're just dreaming. Like I said, we'll see how that goes along. Here's another big topic that ended up coming up, and this kind of surprised me. Yeah, TNA, or particular Anthem Entertainment, filed a lawsuit against TNA legendary women's wrestling champion Gail Kim. Now, this I was very shocked by this, if I'm being 100% honest. I just couldn't believe it. Now, this is some of the information that I got. It says here, according to newly available court records from the Nashville Chancery Court, Gail Kim was served on January 12th in connection with a lawsuit filed against her by Anthem Wrestling Exhibitions, LLC, which is a parent company of TNA. The service date starts the clock on her legal response, meaning Gail Kim has 30 days to answer unless she seeks and receives an extension. Then it gets to everything. It says Anthem actually filed the suit back on January 10th, seeking a ruling that would block Kim from pursuing Florida-based legal claims under whistleblower and civil rights statutes. Instead, they're asking the court to declare that all legal matters related to her former services agreement must be handled under Tennessee law as stated in her contract. Now, if you don't know, I think TNA's main headquarters is in Nashville, Tennessee. They're also, according to the article continues with, they're also asking the court to formally state that Kim is an independent contractor, not an employee, effectively disqualifying her from employment-based protections. Now, I hate the term independent contractor. I've never liked it. It's what Vince McMahon called many other wrestlers that used to work for WWE. They're saying they were independent contractors. I'm like, wait a minute, then why do you have them sign long-term contracts? And that sort of thing. Maybe this is just me not understanding certain aspects of the business side of pro wrestling. But then again, maybe this is just me not knowing what the heck goes on in Vince McMahon's screwy brain. I don't get it. But I'm going to continue with this. There's a quote saying, quote, the suit reads, quote, AWE seeks a declaration that all disputes between the company and Kim are governed by Tennessee law and that she must not assert claims under Florida state statutes. I think it's because she lives in the state of Florida. That's probably why she filed this. It continues with Kim's agreement, which began in September 2022, covered talent relations, match production, and business development. It expired at the end of 2024, but continued on a month-to-month basis until her March 2025 departure, which Anthem claims was part of a broader restructuring, not a personal termination. The company also noted she appeared on outside projects like The Amazing Race Canada and The Traders Canada and received 1099s instead of W-2s. Now, if you're a tax person, I'm the wrong person to ask about this, so don't look at me. I got to greet this person. Hi, how are you? Hope you're enjoying the show. So we're going to get back to this. I got more to read here. The Anthem is stating in a quote, Ms. Kim has threatened to bring claims under the Florida Private Whistleblower Act, the Florida Civil Rights Act, and Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And they're asking the court to rule that she has no legally conscionable claims under Florida law and to award attorney's fees and court costs. The thing with Gail Kim is, she put in so much work, so much effort into TNA making it what it is. If it weren't for her, you would not have a women's championship or women's tag team championship because of people like her, because of people like Madison Rayne, Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, the Beautiful People, Awesome Kong, who is Gail Kim's greatest rival. She became a legend. Yeah, in TNA, she was in WWE. What's the only good thing happened to Gail Kim in WWE? She met her husband, Chef Robert Irvine. If you watch Dinner Impossible, Restaurant Impossible, you know what I'm talking about. There is an episode where they met. Check it out. It's from a show, Dinner Impossible, on the Food Network. You'll love it, and you'll see where that all started, but that's besides the point. So the next move is all on her, and she has to respond within 30 days or just push things further legally. So I don't know. Do I think TNA is being petty? Yes. I hate the fact that they're doing this to her. Maybe she's exposing some things that we don't know anything about that was going on. Maybe there might be some information that she knows something about. I'm trying to close this up. Sorry. Concerning the firing of Scott D'Amore. Scott D'Amore, of course, was fired in 2024. Anthem let him go. They had Anthony Ciccone in there. Anthony Ciccone only lasted a year as president. And then Carlos Silva, who's the current president of TNA, is there now. Things seem to be kind of getting back on track with TNA. But then again, I'm probably going to get commented, but please don't watch TNA on AMC. It sucks. Or something like that. Oh, Grandmaster Solis says Robert's helping her. Oh, good for him. Good for Chef Irvine. That is awesome. I like that. I definitely like that. That's a good supportive husband right there. And it's Valentine's Day, so okay. Big back off. Thank you, by the way. So I don't know. I mean, does Gail Kim know something about what happened with Scott D'Amore? Like I said, he was fired 2024, just as TNA was starting to get white hot. It's all like 5 steps forward, 60 steps backwards with this company for some reason or another, even though fans still love it. Fans still get to see rising stars in the company or see people being given second chances. which I don't find anything wrong with. But does Gail Kim know something that we don't? And I remember when Scott D'Amore was fired, it was absolutely shocking. And then there was so much information that came out afterwards. I'm not going to get too much into it. I mean, he did want to take TNA independent and continue working with different promotions, that sort of thing. And Anthem said absolutely not. So there is that situation. So I think, in all honesty, this might go to court, but I'm not a legal expert. I would have to ask a lawyer for that, and I don't know any lawyers. But on to the next topic. That kind of... Next. Now, this also kind of pissed me off as well. It's TKO being greedy because, like the banner says, WrestleMania watch-along events in Vegas banned in an attempt to boost ticket sales. Now, this year's WrestleMania, which like last year was in Vegas, is having trouble selling tickets. Understandable. The tickets are priced so fucking high. I've said this in chats and other shows that I've watched. I'm not willing to donate a kidney or any vital organ for that matter. I'm also not willing to take a second mortgage on my house just to pay for tickets to go see the one of the greatest wrestling shows of all time. What now? Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you. But this situation is happening. This is for watch-along events are happening within a 50-mile radius of Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. This is crazy. I don't like this. But then again, not everybody can afford $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. And that's not including for tickets, like say you're on the floor, if the cheapest seats in the nosebleeds are freaking priced out of at least my price range. That's some of the stuff is like almost my husband's yearly salary, for Christ's sake. That's insanity as far as I'm concerned. And I hate that. I absolutely hate it. It just pisses me off. And the fact that if you're doing like watch-along events within a 50-mile radius and you can't do it, let's face it, like I said, WWE, in particular TKO, this is TKO doing this shit. They're greedy as fuck. I hate this. They've priced it out so high, nobody can really afford this. And you have all the people out there claiming, well, prices for groceries are too high, and you can't afford to get what we need. Like, we have to pay our bills. I get that. I've done that. But I think this is just, I don't know what to say about it. I think TKO their greed continues to continues to show. Pretty much, what have I got now? Not TKO. Endeavor is the parent company. TKO. Yeah, I keep goofing up on that. I keep thinking they're one and the same. But no, I get what you're saying, Grandmaster Solus. Yeah, Endeavor is the parent company. Sorry, but TKO gets frequently mentioned a lot. So we're always going to blame them for that sort of thing. So that's really kind of the one major thing that has really pissed me off about the whole situation is just the greed aspect. Because like I've said before during this whole discussion on this topic is it's just getting too expensive and I hate it so bad. Because I feel bad for those wrestling fans whose dream is to go to something like WrestleMania and you can't. It's too freaking expensive to go. And then you add on, of course, airfare, hotel, food, and if you want to go shopping at, like, I think WWE still does their superstores during their big pay-per-view events where you can get like up-and-coming T-shirts or, that sort of thing. But that's infuriating. That to me is personally infuriating. I hate it. I just hate it so much. I'm going to get out of this. This is just going to make me mad. I'm going to get off this topic. If you're wondering what's going on with Elimination Chamber, I got some updates for you. We've got so far on the men's and women's side, 3 competitors each. Of course, on the women's side, you have Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, and Alexa Bliss all qualifying for the Chamber. Alexa Bliss qualified for it last night on SmackDown. And on the men's side, you have the Viper, Randy Orton. You have, LA Knight. He made it to probably a massive pop. I think it was a massive pop. It was, because everyone's so sick of him getting screwed over. I'm with you on that one too. I hate the fact that he's getting screwed over on this one. And of course, last night on SmackDown, despite basically Drew McIntyre just going completely psychotic and wanting to make sure that he doesn't have to defend it. I think this is more Drew just doesn't want to defend his title against Cody because he knows Cody will beat his ass. But Cody Rhodes is in the match, and I know not everyone was happy about it. I saw the tweets, and believe me, look, I respect and admire Cody Rhodes way too much to boo him. I can't do it. What's this? This sounds. Oh, this is back to my previous topic. The Saudis are trying to buy WWE from Endeavor. Endeavor has asked for $30 billion, and the Saudis have offered $20 billion so far. But that's not wow. Another one. WWE is at all-time lows for ratings and all-time lows in attendance. Yeah, because the events, even Raw and SmackDown tapings, are pricey, and I'm sure with Elimination Chamber, which is what I'm talking about, by the way, Grandmaster Solus, is the prices to go to the United Center in Chicago are through the roof. I mean, it's not like AEW Dynamite or AEW Rampage when Punk made his comeback in 2021. It was actually 2022. I can't remember anymore. It's been too long. But no, let me get back on track right here. But this is pretty much so far. Like I said, you have Randy Orton, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes already qualified for the men's Eliminator Chamber match. Alexa Bliss, Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley have qualified for the women's match. They've got a couple of more qualifying matches coming up on Raw and SmackDown. Raw side, big triple threat match on the men's side with Dominic Mysterio, Gunther, and Javon Evans. If I were to predict, I would love to see Javon Evans qualify for the Chamber. I mean, Mr. Bouncy, that would be freaking cool. And then SmackDown will be Carmelo Hayes, Damian Priest, and Trick Williams. Trick probably will get that. I don't doubt it. I think WWE is super high on him. And, he's got charm, charisma, that sort of thing. So he's clearly got all the intangibles. And Grandmaster Solo says, less shows equal less people equal record high ticket prices. Yeah. Still sucks, though. Now, on the women's side, more matches coming up to see who joins Miss Stratton, Miss Ripley, and Miss Bliss in the Chamber. Of course, Raw will be Asuka, Bayley, and the low-key legend Natty. I would love to see Natty in the Chamber. I mean, she's a completely different character than who she was. Like she says, Natalya elevates, Natty decimates, and I believe it. And I think this is cool. And, of course, SmackDown will have Charlotte Flair, who is Alexa Bliss's tag team partner, Kiana James, and Nia Jax. If Nia Jax goes into that Chamber, oh, God. I'm going to be terrified for literally every woman in that goddamn Chamber because I don't care how much she's improved. I know she's losing weight. But still. I do not trust her. And I don't think anyone else would too. More updates on Elimination Chamber. We've got 2 title matches for this card. And whether we get another one added into this, I don't really know. But we'll find out because Elimination Chamber isn't until February 28th. But we have CM Punk putting his World Heavyweight title on the line against Finn Balor. Of course, Balor's sick of playing Mr. Nice Guy, so he's gonna see if he can try and take it from Punk. We'll see what happens on that front. And then Becky Lynch puts that women's Intercontinental title against AJ Lee. Oh, God. Here's the crazy thing. If I watched an Instagram story from someone I follow on my personal Instagram account, he talked about the segment from Monday Night Raw where Becky Lynch is like, doing crazy, insane laughter and that sort of thing, sounding like a freaking psychopath or a villainous cartoon character. It was very cringeworthy. If you look at AJ Lee's face, even she was like, what? Who the fuck am I looking at? Who is this person? I don't know who this is. It was very cringeworthy, and AJ Lee kind of took advantage of the situation, gets the title match, and what can you do? I wonder if Becky took a page from her Happy Gilmore 2 co-star Maxwell Jacob Friedman that cave in when you get pushed to a breaking point where you just can't say no anymore and you sound like a child having a temper tantrum. Now, Miss Lynch is clearly pushing herself back towards the Roast a Wrestler segment where she's been in twice and I've obliterated her twice. So she needs to watch it or I'm going to be after her again. And I'm sure she'll go after so-called greatest lawyers ever and tell them to send me a cease and desist letter. Good luck trying to find me, Becky. I don't care. I do not care. So you better watch yourself, woman. Watch yourself. Now, next thing on my list. Yeah. Bron Breakker, why did you end up with a hernia? Is it because... Here's what really happened. If you listen to Monday Night Raw, or watch Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Why would you want to listen to Monday Night Raw? It's not radio. Sorry. Bron Breakker wound up, shocker, from lifting the commentary desk up during a segment where the Vision is beating the shit out of people. And then that masked man showed up. I'm sure everyone says, oh, it's Seth Rollins. We'll find out. But that's not the point. But the point is, Bron Breakker suffered a hernia and had to undergo hernia surgery. Now, if you watch Monday Night Raw, Michael Cole said he injured it he got the hernia via training. Yeah, that's basically WWE saying Bron Breakker's a moron, and we're not going to tell you he's an idiot. We're not going to also tell you the real reason why he had to undergo this surgery. The thing about it is this could take him out of WrestleMania. If there were any creative plans for him, WWE is probably going to have no choice but to scrap it. Oh, Mania matches so far: Roman versus Punk, Cody versus Fatu versus it's Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre. Oh no, Grandmaster Solus. I'm gonna have to disagree with you in the Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar one. I would not wish Brock Lesnar on anybody, and I don't want Oba Femi if they're going to build any momentum with him. I personally do not want to see any Oba Femi's momentum derailed by Brock. By having Brock F5 him 4 times and then pin him 1, 2, 3, and the match lasted about a minute. Now, Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul, I don't know. That I'm not sure about, but, you know, you'll see. Oh, back to this. Bron Breakker got hurt on Raw before the Rumble. The commentary booth is not true. That's why Braun was not in the Raw. Okay. No, wait a minute. The Braun was in the Rumble, but he got attacked by the masked man, or the hooded dude, who may or may not be Seth Rollins. I don't honestly know, but like I said, we'll find out. He got thrown back in the ring, and then Braun was eliminated. Yeah, and I agree with you, Grandmaster. So the training is a lie. I'm with you on that one. But yeah, the hernia surgery is, like I said, going to keep Bron Breakker out maybe well past WrestleMania. Because let's face it, if there was any creative plans for Breakker, because I think WWE is high on him, you have to scrap it in favor of something else. And this hooded dude, whether it is Seth Rollins or not, is kind of changing a lot of things. So there's all that. Now, I'm going to get out of this topic. Now, 1 minute. Now, we get to one of the best parts of the show, and I had this person named Wrestler of the Week before the Super Bowl. Joe Hendry. Oh, shit, he didn't show up. Sorry. Sorry. Let me close my window here. Let me close the blinds real quick. I'm sorry. I opened it up I know. Say his name, he appears. Yes, I believe in Joe Hendry, but he didn't show up. Sorry. Oh, more on the Bron Breakker. He got the hernia when he speared Penta on Raw before the Rumble. Okay. And then he pulled his hernia when he speared Penta. Okay. Oh, he pulled his hernia when okay. Now they got the Bron Breakker injury situation updated. Let's go back to Mr. Hendry. This guy, I mean, look, when the song came out, I didn't get it. I absolutely didn't get what? Oh, yeah, Seth is also missing Mania. Okay, so Grandmaster Solus, are you saying that potentially Seth is not Mr. I wear a hood and I like to curb stomp you? Is you saying he's not the one attacking the Vision? I mean, could it be Adam Pearce? I don't honestly know. Or it could be Logan Paul's own brother, Jake. I doubt it, because he's recovering from getting his jaw busted by Anthony Joshua. By the way, Anthony Joshua, thank you for doing that. All right, let's get back to where I am at on this. I know when I get comments, I'm going to read as many of them as I can. There's no question. Joe Hendry, this guy's been doing his thing for years. He even appeared WWE in a Raw segment with Rusev and Lana, where he was their lawyer. He's been around the world. He's done his thing. Oh, man. Oh, my God. KB, you have an evil twin? Dude. Well, tell him to keep going. I'm enjoying it. Thank you. All right. I'm getting back to Joe Hendry. No, he's not behind me. Like I said, he's been doing his thing for years. When his song started becoming mega popular, I didn't get it, but I've grown to like the guy enormously. Great, charming, seems cool. He's a good wrestler, became TNA world champion. I mean, took him long enough. He finally got it. Started making appearances at NXT. Crowd literally lost their minds. They love him, love his song. They love him. And of course, oh my God. They said the Masked Man is supposed to be Bad Bunny. Oh man, how is he able to? Okay, I'm not going to get into the logistics of how is it possible he was able to fly from wherever he was rehearsing for the Super Bowl halftime show to Saudi Arabia to pull that off first on Breakker, and then I'm not even going to get into it. It's too confusing. I'll get a headache. Okay, all right, Joe Hendry. Here we go. I keep saying it. Like I said, this song came out, went viral. Didn't get it. I didn't know who he was. First, I thought it was annoying, but it's very catchy. I caught on. And like I said, people love him, whether he was in TNA or right now in NXT. He's now officially WWE full-time. On the February 3rd episode of NXT, in the ladder match, he did it. He became NXT champion. We know Bafemi retained the title. New Year's Evil vacated it, went to the main roster where he's now wrecking havoc. I don't know where he's going to go. Joe Hendry did what he did. He made sure Ricky Saints didn't get that title. And now he's NXT champion. He had his first title defense already against Evolved champion Jackson Drake. But it looks like Ricky Saints is going to be the guy that I think Joe Hendry's going to have the biggest feud with. But Joe Hendry, cuts a good promo. He showed he could work well with others. I mean, I think he gave Thea Hale a lot of confidence, and has been I think he's been a bit of a mentor to her. And he's, there's no question in my mind that Joe Hendry has had an impact, especially in NXT, because I think he brings eyes in, people tuning in to watch him, see what he does, see what song he sings, who he's making fun of in said song. I swear, I think Joe Hendry should record an EP of some of the songs he's done, like when he made fun of Ethan Page. If you know, you know. This was hilarious, by the way. But no, Joe Hendry, my wrestler of the week. And, Ricky Saints, if you don't watch it, you're going to end up in the next segment, but I already got somebody in there. I said, find out who this person is. Yeah. Liv Morgan. What is your issue? You win the. Let me get something here. Sorry. Let me get something here. You were not this bitch that we're seeing on TV right now. You weren't always this bitch hanging around Dominic Mysterio, eating chicken tenders, annoying the hell out of people, calling them puta, Spanish for whore. By the way, no, Liv Morgan, if anyone is a puta, it's you. That's what you are. You were not always like this. You were in NXT. You're cute, bubbly, wearing sneakers, that sort of thing. Join the Riot Squad. You developed a sisterhood with Ruby Riot, now Ruby Soho, and Sarah Logan. You developed that one. What's this? NXT has now lost 2 weeks in a row in the ratings to Dynamite. Since Joe has won the NXT title, they've lost the ratings war to Dynamite. I'm going to kind of dispute that for you, Grandmaster Solus. NXT is on Tuesdays. AEW Dynamite is on Wednesdays. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Oh, so it says sorry for the bad news. Yeah, I know. You're all right. You're all right. I'm going to give it back to obliterating this bitch. Okay. Like I said, you were in the Riot Squad. You were cool. And off into your own thing. You started improving. You were Miss Money in the Bank. You cashed in on Ronda Rousey and became a SmackDown Women's Champion for the first time in your wrestling career. And you didn't start out like other wrestlers in the indies and working your way up through that process. You were doing other stuff. You were working and all that. But things ended up changing. Yeah, you turned heel. You seduced Dominic Mysterio, ripped him away from Rhea Ripley. Sorry, no pun intended on the rip part. But it's kind of to me, you are the case of how the mighty have fallen. You were cool and then you're not cool. Now you just turned into a bitch. And you win the Royal Rumble. Great. You deserve it. Whoopee. Why do I not care? Because I don't care. I just don't care. You're someone that a friend of mine calls Mid Morgan. Let's face it. You have and you've pretty much turned into an annoying little twat. You can't make up your mind on who you want to face at WrestleMania as either Stephanie Vaquer or Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill's already made her point very, very clear. If you pick her, you're fucked. Because say what you want about Jade. Now what? Sorry. Oh, you love Liv Morgan. What I hate about Liv Morgan, the Masonic symbols. Oh, man. I had no clue on that one. But no. Please. Liv. Like I said, Jade Cargill has already made a case. If you pick her, you're fucked. Because people can say what they want about Jade Cargill being green, saying she's a bad champion, and all this stuff. Sure, her match against Jordynne Grace last night wasn't very impressive, and I'm sure you, Liv, and Dominic, and Raquel, and Dominic decided to treat you to probably one of the most dumbest Valentine's Day dinners of all time involving chicken tenders. I'm sorry. No. No disrespect. KB says, no disrespect. Nobody wants Liv versus Stephanie in Vegas. I don't want it either. Not unless part of the match involves Stephanie just basically pissing Liv. I don't know. It would require basically, because we know if that. I don't think it matters if you pick either Stephanie Vaquer or Jade Cargill. Liv, you're screwed. You are probably fucking screwed. And if Dominic gets involved, guess what? Equally as fucked. The Battle of the Masonic Women. Oh, man. This is crazy. But Liv, come on. You're being sad. Doesn't matter who you pick. I don't honestly think you're going to win because, look, you've already got, I think Raquel Rodriguez, despite the fact she's acting loyal, if I were Raquel, if I were you, I'd turn on Liv because she's just a bitch. Wait a minute. Would rather have Io versus Rhea versus Stephanie and triple that. Look, that would be cool, KB. Don't get me wrong. That would be friggin' awesome. I don't know. I do not know. But right now, Liv Morgan is undecided. She's basically toying with both Stephanie and Jade. And Jade's making it clear, you can fuck with me all you want. If you choose me, I'm going to basically... I'm basically going to squash you like a goddamn bug. And I'm sure if she picks Stephanie, I'm not going to get into it. But, hey. Okay. By the way, Grandmaster Solus, I'm not going to scold you on it. You are entitled to your opinion. Did Stephanie get schooled by Raquel? I don't honestly think so. I think that match would have been better had the woman who's the subject of this segment did not stick her nose in where it didn't belong and had listened to Raquel say, listen, girl, stay in the back. We had little greedy Miss Morgan get involved. And do I think if, say, for example, Liv does pick Stephanie, which I think there is a majority of the wrestling viewing public who thinks that's even possible. Yeah. If it happens, then I suspect, and this is my opinion, and there's someone on TikTok who said the same thing, is Raquel could turn on Liv and cost her the title. We'll see about that. Oh. You want Io versus Rhea versus Raquel, Grandmaster Souls? Oh, geez, KB. Liv is a beautiful woman, but most wrestling fans like us are not emotionally invested. And I'm not either. I tried to get emotionally invested because I thought she was cool and all that. Had some cool moves and stuff, but I don't know. She is what a mutual friend of ours calls Mid Morgan. That's why I used that in the beginning. You know who I mean, KB. So, oh my God. Liv Morgan, no matter who you pick, bitch, you're fucked. You are so fucked. Okay. I'm going to get this thing back up to where I want it to be. There we go. But, yep, that is it for today's show. Remember, you can follow Between the Ropes, all social media platforms. Here's the ticker. Follow us. Follow me. You follow me at Writing Cat on Twitter. That's where you find me. Sometimes I tweet dumb shit. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm smart. Sometimes I'm not. I have those moments. And if you want to check out ETB content, youtube.com/ETB network. Remember, like, share, subscribe, stay notified, hit that bell so you don't miss out on anything, whether it's Press Row, whether it's Hitting for the Cycle, which is back. Hardwood Game Day with Trevor. We got more stuff. We got new stuff coming up soon, like for football season, that sort of thing. Now what's going on? Oh, yeah, KB, the term Mid Morgan is copyright. Okay, when did you file the trademark there, KB? It's copyright by the IWC fan. Thank you for reminding me, by the way. IWC, yes, marks. That's why I always say when it comes to those people, don't feed the trolls. Do not feed the trolls. But there's that. And like I said, youtube.com/ETB network. Check all our great content. You can check out Bando's Breakdowns, Zan Zingers, Hitting for the Cycle. I mentioned that one. Press Row. You got all that stuff. And that's going to be it for me. I hope all of you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Like I said, no matter how you celebrated with your significant other. Sorry. I got a spouse, so I'm spending it with him. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you for watching Between the Ropes on the ETB network, and I will see you folks next week. Bye.